Hey, welcome to our tutorial today. We're going to talk about parallel compression. So let's solo up some drums and some bass. And the drums and the bass on their own sound pretty good. They sound like this. But what if there was a way to keep all those dynamics, all those frequencies, the original frequencies, what if there was a way to keep that intact and then just use something in parallel, kind of underneath, and bring it up, and to bring out some of that low end, to bring out some of that high end? But there is a way, and it's really simple, and it's a lot of fun to use. So let's take a listen to parallel compression on an all drums and bass auxiliary channel. So what I've done here is I've set up this aux, and this is a stereo aux track. So I just created a new aux track. I placed it here, and I gave it an input, and then I renamed the input PC drums and bass. And I'm sending PC drums and bass. I'm sending it right from here from the send. So I'm sending this line, which we just listened to, and I'm sending it to this input right here. So it's going to come filter down here. And on this channel, I've hooked up a compressor, and I've hooked up an EQ. And they look like this. The compressor, this is what's important, is we want to crush these things. And let's listen to like a couple different kinds of compressors, okay? So right now we have a Waves C1 compressor, which is just like a nice, I really like this as a go-to as a compressor. It's really easy. It's kind of laid out very simply like that. So the first thing, I'm not using any makeup gain. I'm just going to crush this. I'm not going to worry about makeup gain because it's all going to come from my fader right here. The big thing is the ratio. So at least 10 to 1 I like to use. Right now I'm at 12 to 1. You could crush it a little bit more if you like. A slower attack and a fast release. Okay, so we have a slower attack and we have a fast release, and we're crushing it. We're going to bring back the threshold till we're getting like, somewhere between like -6 and -12 dB of gain reduction. On other plugins, we can hit it even harder. That's fine. I find for this plugin, just fine. The EQ, I'm boosting 6 dB at 100 Hertz. So this is 6 dB, is a stock Pro Tools EQ, and then 6 dB at 6K. Easy peasy. So let's have a listen to this EQ and this compressor. So I've sent it over. This is my send. I've floored it. You don't need to put it in pre-fade. I just want you to hear it later, so that's why I have it there. And let's take a listen to what this sounds like. And I'll really turn it up. You hear it kind of like gurgle everything up and smash everything up. Check out when I mute the send. When I mute the return, how the drums kind of collapse a little bit more towards the mono. And when I unmute this return right here, this yellow one, when I unmute it, the stereo image gets a little bit wider. There's quite a bit more represented in the high end. There's quite a bit more represented in the low end. And that's from compressing it and saturating the signal, and also from this EQ boost. Now we're not going for gain. We're not going to make it louder. If we want to make it louder, we just turn up the fader. So we want to keep the same level. We just want the extra excitement. And that's like the best word to describe parallel compression, is stuff gets more exciting. It's fractional, but it is fractionally more exciting. So here it is again. Cool. Okay, so there it is. Listen to that a couple times and just listen for the stuff coming out the sides, listen for the low end, and listen for the high end, and how things are going to just get a little bit more exciting, okay? Let's come over here. We're going to mute that. I've set up the same thing with the vocals, so I'm going to close that down. I'm going to open this one up. I'm going to open that one up. Oh, I'm going to close that. So same thing, different type of compressor. This is a Waves compressor. This is their model off of Fairchild. It's got a Puigchild Joseph Puigchild. It's a stereo, so 670, and there's a mono one 660 as well. When we come in here, we have our input, and they're linked. I'll just skip to this. They are linked. So the left and right channel right now are linked. They don't have to be, but right now they are. So we're pinning it. And typically on Fairchilds, I've seen a lot of pinning on the input knob. So right across here, this is our threshold. So this is the time where the compressor is going to turn on, after we reach a certain level. And this is our release time. 1 is all the way fast. It gets incrementally slower as we get towards 6. And this is our output gain. So let's just we have this vocal right here. And I have it hooked up to bus 1516. That's my return 1516. I haven't renamed it. So 1516 to 1516. And let's take a look, listen to what's happening here in the vocals. And we're getting my eyes deceive me, but I think that's -5 and -7 dB gain reduction. Even up to -10 it hit for a second. So that's probably the sweet spot for it right there. That sounds good, but let's turn it up so we can really hear what's happening. So again, our goal isn't gain, our goal is more exciting in the low end, more exciting in the high end. So too loud. Awesome. So, what would a different compressor sound like? What would a different compressor sound like on the vocals? Is it going to be minutia? Yeah, but it is going to color it a little bit differently. So we're going to take off that compressor and let's use another compressor. We'll stick with the Waves theme right now. So we have CLA 76. Here we go. So remember, at least 10-to-1. So I'm going 12-to-1. Fast release, slower attack. Okay, so let's just watch this needle bounce and let's dial this in. See how slow that goes? These 76 are all hooked up a little backwards, so 1 is super slow. See, it never recovers. 7 is faster. All right, so we have those lines dialed in, so let's just turn up our send now. Oh, sorry. We'll turn up this. So right back there. Cool. All right, so let's take a listen to this, and then I'll turn on the Puigchild. I'll turn that off too. So here's the Puigchild. And that's this one. And here's the CLA 76. And the Puigchild pops out just a little bit. We want to gain that back just a little bit as well. So let's check that out on the mix. Let's leave the CLA 76. Let's have a listen to that. Okay, and let's mute it. It's a bit too loud. Cool, so we're in the right ballpark now. Let's take a listen. We're gonna actually do this to the drums. Let's try a different compressor on the drums. Let's bring over the CLA 76 on the drums instead. I'm just gonna redo that. See how the volume is so different? That's about right. It makes a huge difference what compressor you're using. So the CLA 76 has got a lot more attitude than the C1 comp. C1 comp was very effective in making things more exciting. It was still compressing. It was exciting, but not like this CLA 76. So this is, I'm just going to clear some space so we can have a listen to this. So here's the CLA 76. And here's nothing. And here's what it sounds like on its own. That's just a great sound. So that suits this rock song quite well. I would say parallel compression. It's a lot of fun. You can add excitement to tracks. There are a number of different compressors that you could try. I would recommend absolutely trying the CLA 76. I would absolutely try that Puigchild. I'd absolutely do the C1 comp. Absolutely put in your favorite compressor and see what happens. Remember the EQ boost? Could you swap out EQs? Yeah. Is it going to make a difference? Yeah. All these different types of plugins of EQs. Some of them are modeled to be super transparent, and some of them are modeled for the dirt. So you might have some favorites that you use, and let us know which ones they are. Parallel compression, a lot of fun, can make stuff exciting. I will say don't use it as a gain. So we're not looking to make things louder. If we're going to make things louder, just turn them up, and that's fine. But really, we're using it to add excitement to our levels where we're at, but just try to drive them a little bit harder on that low end and in the high end. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and I'm going to see you in the next one.